Hi, I'm Ranix, and I'm going to explain the rotor shader, which is the only diffuse shader to support semi-transparency. So the alpha map isn't limited to only black or white, but you can actually make use of shades of grey. And in combination with full specularity, this is useful for glass or fake water. You can use the rotor shader for buildings or props. The difference is you can add buildings as sub-buildings and then they become embedded into the main building asset. But sub-buildings don't work on growables, so you can also use it for props. But the drawback here is you must publish the prop before adding it to your building. There are some other trade-offs when using the rotor shader. For example, it casts shadows only if it's above 50% opacity. But it doesn't receive shadows at all and is only illuminated by the sun, so it will look weird in the shadows. So I would recommend using a dark diffuse texture and maybe using it only for the actual glass part, and maybe some black frames. Also, it has a reversed render order. This means if you have multiple faces on top of each other, the one that is further away will actually appear on top of the closest one. So in that case, I recommend separating it into multiple props or sub-buildings. As for the LOD, rotor shader doesn't work for it at all, so I recommend importing a small invisible triangle as the LOD to avoid the game generating a useless mesh. There's a mod by TPB to extend the render distance for rotor shader props and buildings. To actually use the rotor shader, you just import your asset and you run the script to change the shader. You can find the scripts and also source files of my Apple Store, Pools and Bauhaus, all of which use the rotor shader in my help thread on Simtropolis. One other interesting thing about the rotor shader is you can use vertex paint on the red channel to control the transparency as well, so it might be useful for adding stains or something to your building. I hope this video is helpful or entertaining. This is Ranix signing off.